Welcome to EPG Pathshala. My name is Dr. Neeraj Agarwal and I am Assistant Professor in University Institute of Hotel and Tourism Management, Punjab University, Chandigarh. I am presenting lecture on the module titled Food Safety and Environment under the paper titled Food and Beverage Service Operations and Management. After completing these modules, the one can able to define food poisoning and types of food poisoning, gain knowledge about harmful bacteria, their sources and reasons for food poisoning, symptoms of food poisoning and its prevention, precautionary measures to be taken at various stages of food service operations, identify critical areas and take corrective measures, and able to understand the importance of clean environment. Let's begin with the introduction of food safety and environment. Food plays a vital role in our life, and food safety is more important than anything else, as our health is directly influenced by the quality of food we eat and the hygienic level of handling the food items. Nowadays, we have realized the importance of food safety concept more meticulously than ever before. The food safety is required at every step of food handling, and strict measures must be taken at all levels of the supply chain, whether it is a field or market, processing house or the dining hall. All these levels are subject to increasingly rigorous food safety standards and laws, because a little carelessness could be fatal. The food industries have come under increasing pressure to ensure that their products are safe and meet the permissible standards of safety. We know that numerous people are dying due to foodborne diseases. Most of the companies are spending huge amount in paying claims and legal fees annually, and above all, they suffer immeasurable business disruption due to a little slackness on the part of food safety. Now, it is required that the dealers, growers, packers, processors, manufacturers and suppliers of food products prove their adherence to their standards for safety and quality. In addition, there are guidelines issued by the government from time to time related to policies and procedures. In spite of knowing that food industry is very sensitive, people are still ignoring food safety norms, which can result in health hazards. Unfortunately, cost cutting has become the need of the hour in the hospitality industry. As a result, the safety rules are flouted at number of places, from packing, cooking and managing the waste at various levels to the quality of training that employees receive. Thus, we find that food safety is required at every step involved in the food handling process. Now, I will explain food safety standards and environment. Food safety measures are essential at every step of food handling. Every company is expected to have a team of dedicated professionals to keep up with the increasing demand of detailed food safety measures and their documentations. Before deciding the safety measures, we must analyze various reasons for the increasing foodborne diseases. It is observed that pathogens are the worst contaminators in foods. Investigations have very often revealed major lapses in sanitation, and it is a matter of great concern for food industry. It is common practice that the companies are spending 90% of their time manipulating the paperwork instead for detecting and finishing the possible health hazards. Thus, they don't focus on real risk in the plant or operating environments. The key elements to be observed are basic sanitation, hygienic level, sterilization and proper waste management, etc. To check the safety level of food, the employees must be given proper training about food handling and supervision. Now, I will explain genetically engineered crops. These days, to increase to produce of the crops, the practice of genetically engineered crops are becoming very popular. We cannot ignore that it is causing many health hazards such as the pollution and chemical contamination. These factors affect soil, air and water and also the produce. No doubt the pesticides eliminate the pest, yet we cannot rule out that they have caused hazards of chemical pollution. GE practice is reproducing and disseminating our ecosystems profoundly, and at the same time it is posing a threat to the existence of natural vegetation and wildlife as well. It is obvious that this concept of genetically engineered crops is causing big damage to the environment due to biological contaminants spreading into our environment and resulting its ecological imbalance. We must understand that we should use fertilizers, pesticides and other chemicals only sparingly. Now, we will discuss about storing and supplying of food produce. The next step is that we need to either sell our produce directly in the market or we can keep it in well-equipped stores for future use. Before sending it in the market, the food has to be packed with lot of cautions so that the life expectancy of the food increases. Some people are using some dangerous chemicals such as calcium carbide and ethylene gas for ripening the fruits, which are quite harmful. The warehouse ought to be located in hygienic surroundings. The food must be stored after proper and safe packing. It must be consumed within the stipulated safe time recommended. Now, we are going to discuss the tips for safe food handling. It is essential that the tips on food handling of commercial supply of fruits, vegetables, meat, poultry and processed milk products, eggs are generally made clear on the labels and packing of the food items for information of the consumers for safe food handling. We need to follow the instructions on the packing for safety reasons. Now, I will discuss about cleaning and sanitizing of food equipment. The cleaning and sanitizing of the equipments is the most important factor related to food safety issue because a little carelessness can spoil the food and make it inedible. Every company must adopt a proper procedures and parameters for the perfect cleaning and safe sanitization of the equipments used in handling food items as well as food product contact surfaces such as equipment, utensils, etc. Similarly, we need to take care of non-contact surfaces which include ceilings, floors, walls, ventilation, refrigeration units, heating, air conditioning systems, lighting devices and any other thing which could affect food safety. Frequency and manner of cleaning the surfaces and the equipment must be defined clearly. The cleaning and sanitizing the equipments and food contact surfaces refers to removal and killing of the bacteria present there. The best mode of cleaning such surfaces is to drain and dry so as to prevent the growth of bacteria. For increasing the safety level, a proper order of the procedure for cleaning, sanitizing of all contact and non-contact surfaces is necessary for the safe results. Now, we are going to discuss the procedure of sanitization. Sanitization involves cleaning. First of all, we need to use appropriate detergent or chemicals under recommended conditions for complete removal of food soil. It is important that the staff involved must have knowledge of different types of food soil and the chemistry for its removal. Rinse. The second step is to wash thoroughly all types of equipments, tools required in food handling before sterilization. Then the third step is sterilization. The third step is sterilization, that is complete destruction and removal of all living organisms and minimizing the microorganisms to the safety levels from the point of view of health. It is very important to label all the detergents, sanitizers or other chemicals properly. Chemicals must be stored separately in a store which should be well ventilated and dry. They should be used with full precautions already mentioned in the instructions to prevent contamination of food. Now, we are going to discuss how to avoid food contamination. Food sanitation means protection of food from contamination. All food products must be protected from contamination at every stage. Sanitation is a dynamic and ongoing function and cannot be limited to any fixed schedule, such as once a day, once a week, etc. Therefore, sanitation has to be a way of life. The temperature and food handling. Some precautions: avoid prolonged holding of food in the danger temperature zone. It is observed that most dangerous temperature is to keep food from 41 degree Fahrenheit to 130 degree Fahrenheit. It is important to have functional thermometers in all the food storage places for accurate assessment of temperature. It is required that we should monitor the temperature on serving lines as per the requirement and the necessity for the safety of the food. To thaw frozen foods, use cold water or put it in refrigerator. Do not thaw foods at room temperature. Patients with communicable diseases and injuries. If an employee is suffering from some diseases which can be transmitted through food handling, should be banned in the food handling area. Similarly, a person affected with sores, wounds, skin diseases, etc. must also not be allowed to enter food handling areas. Under no circumstances, the food should not be allowed to be handled by a person with open cuts or wounds unless the wound is completely protected by a waterproof and secure covering to avoid any transformation of infection. Hand wash and personal cleaning. Repeated hand washing with hot water is very important. So, we require sufficient number of separate wash basins or sinks and drying devices for convenient hand wash in food handling areas. Before entering the working areas, the employees involved in food handling must wash hands with soap under warm running water. Employees must use disinfectants wherever required. Personal cleanliness and hygiene is necessary to maintain in food handling areas. They should wear hair covering such as chef caps and safe footwear and sanitary protective clothes, and especially the gloves must be clean and sanitized. All food handling staff must not wear things such as watches, jewelry, as they may contaminate the food products. Chewing gums, tobacco and gutka etc. should not be allowed inside the food handling areas. Premises and surroundings. We must evaluate the outside surroundings before selecting a place for the installation of a food processing plant. We must keep in mind that the common sources of contamination are bird harborage areas, vermin, odor problems, pollution, drainage problems, smoke, debris, dust, refuse, etc. The surrounding and the premises must have a good hygiene level. The infrastructure such as walls, floors, shelves and ceilings must be constructed of the durable, smooth and impervious materials which can be easily cleaned. The color of the walls should be light and there should be adequately slope in the floor for smooth and proper drainage. The food processing areas should have self-closing and tight-fitted doors and windows to avoid any lapse on the part of the employees. Heating, ventilation and air conditioning. The designing must prevent excessive steam, heat, dust, condensation and facilitate removal contaminated air. Proper air vents are required in microbiologically sensitive areas. HVAC system should be cleanable regularly to prevent any contaminated air. Drainage and sewage systems. There should be appropriate traps and vents and must not have potential of cross connections existing between human waste, effluent and other waste in the plant. Now we are going to discuss the waste management. Before the removal of waste and inedible material from plant or surroundings, we must have the facilities of proper storage of the waste. Containers meant for waste must be clearly labeled and marked for convenient handling of waste. Water quality. Food processing and handling area requires lot of potable water, steam and ice. Regular water treatments based on demineralization, chlorination systems, filtration, etc. must be maintained. We must maintain adequate water pressures and temperatures in food processing areas to avoid any contamination. All food processing and food handling rooms must be cleaned and sanitized regularly. It is necessary that all brushes and equipment must be well repaired as well as cleaned before keeping them in a systematic way. Now, let's talk about food safety concerns. It is also essential that buyers should be made aware of potential concerns related to food safety so that they can be conscious about the quality of the food at every step of distribution and sale. And the first is environmental effects. We all agree that agriculture is the main profession in India and it has contributed to greenhouse gas emissions and environmental pollution. Agriculture is also responsible for destruction of ecosystems, climate changes, soil degradation, water and air contamination. Innovative attempts are being made to overcome these problems, but the environmental effects have already become a global concern. Pesticide exposures. The use of pesticides has increased tremendously in farming these days. Recent studies have shown that pesticides are food contaminants and cause the adverse effects. The use of pesticides has increased in the production of fruit and vegetable as well as in animal feeding operations. It has become a great concern that the exposure to pesticides is increasing the chances of infertility, slow poisoning, nervous system damage, birth defects and cancer. Proper washing of the food products is an important way of reducing impact of pesticides, but the best alternate is organic farmers who do not use chemicals like synthetic pesticides. But unfortunately, organic farming is yet not very popular in India. Foodborne diseases. We all know that foodborne diseases are considered to be the most prevalent risk in our country. Its seriousness becomes worse due to high density, poor sanitation, and poor storage. Once a disease starts, they spread like a wildfire. Therefore, the need for proper care in food handling becomes more important. Millions of Indians suffer from food poisoning each year and a big number of people die also. Of course, this can be mitigated with better education about food safety practices at the production, processing and distribution end. Food contaminants. In fact, viral contamination and bacteria have become a vital reason to cause foodborne diseases. So, we cannot underestimate the importance of food safety concerns. There are many other substances that can also contaminate the food and can cause health issues. It is surprising that heavy metals like cadmium, mercury, and lead are also sometimes found in food. Digestion of such heavy metals is not easy. So, it can lead to serious cases of poisoning and many health problems. Antibiotic resistance. One of the side effects of treating dairy cows and buffalo suffering from Monsanto's recombinant bovine growth hormone is increasing the risk of infection. Somehow, the overuse of antibiotics can cause the development of antibiotic resistant diseases and infections. Bacteria can rapidly evolve this trait with prolonged exposure to antibiotics, and using antibiotics in a preventive manner rather than therapeutically can lead to diseases and infections that are untreatable. Thus, excessive use of antibiotics has its own dangerous problems and reduces the resistance to diseases. Now, I will explain about food safety in hospitality industry. Food safety is important to any hospitality business, whether the business is a hotel, a restaurant, a school canteen, or any other catering establishment. The food safety regulations must be followed. The food in these units should be prepared in safe conditions using all food safety measures. All the foods must be thoroughly cooked to prevent food poisoning. To follow intense food safety procedures, it is expected that even staff involved in cleaning and maintenance also needs to be trained in food safety regulations. There is a radical change observed in the hospitality and tourism industry. The past practices have undergone big changes, and new innovations have brought a big revolution in the hospitality industry. No doubt, the beautiful interiors, friendly staff, interesting menus, high quality customer service are important factors for hospitality industry, yet nothing can surpass the importance of the food safety rules. In case any lapse is found in an official inspection, the business establishment will not only be required to pay heavy fine, but also it will damage the reputation of the business beyond repairs. In case of a breach of safety regulations, an establishment may be subject to legal persecution. Therefore, the knowledge and skill on food safety measures is necessary. A systematic training and knowledge of law enforcement are likely to minimize the food handling hazards. The food should be stored, cleaned, and handled properly before and during the food is served to avoid bacteria or viruses. Thus, maintaining excellent food safety standards in the hospitality industry is a major concern today, as the company's reputation and brand loyalty can be harmed beyond repairs. These days, New solutions have revolutionized the way food is stored and cooked. Hotel industry must ensure the highest levels of food safety must be adhered strictly by the staff, management and also guarantee maximum safety control. Food and beverage industry regulations and compliance. Strict food safety regulations should be implemented at each stage of food and beverage from processing, manufacturing to distribution. It has become mandatory to understand the food safety laws before starting any food business. Producing safe food is essential to the success of our business as our customers will expect that the food safety must be verified before the food products are supplied to the manufacturers, retailers, and fast food franchisees. The employees must know how to handle its preparation hygienically till it is served. Personal hygiene and sanitization. Every employee in the hotel who comes in contact with food items or other items are required to take a few precautions such as open hair and cuts on the body, and it is necessary to wear clean clothes at work and must cover the mouth and nose when sneezing or coughing. Every person that comes in direct contact with preparation or service of food must follow strict personal hygienic rules. Whenever they enter the building or the working area, they must wash their hands. All the equipments, tools and surfaces required in the process must be sanitized on a regular basis. Cooking style. Staff related to food production must know the proper rules of safe cooking and strictly follow them. Enforcing the implementation of food safety rules will not only help hospitality business owners avoid legal problems and heavy fines, but also improve quality of the food and customer satisfaction, and indirectly will help in improving the business. Pest control. Making food safe is not enough in hotels. Food pests such as rodents, flies, and cockroaches can spoil or contaminate foods. Regular services by pest control can help to prevent such pests in the food service sector. Food preparation. In order to attain food safety to be at high standards in hotels, the food must be prepared very carefully. We must discard or throw away any expired foods and any food that falls on the floor or any dirty surface. A thorough cooking adds to the safety level of the food unless otherwise the customer himself has directly instructing. Inspection. The health department of the India keeps a check on the quality of the food safety level. It conducts surprise raids at the hotel or other food service business in order to ensure proper food safety procedures. Failing to that, a hotel has to face litigation or heavily penalized. Now, I will summarize the whole module. Providing food free from bacterial and chemical contamination is the most important activity of food business. Chemical contamination may be controlled, but it is a challenge as bacteria are not visible to naked eyes. They multiply at faster rate at room temperature and can speed through cross-contamination. Personal hygiene and thorough cleaning of food handling area, equipment, tools, raw materials, storing and handling food properly will ensure food safety. Staff members should have thorough knowledge and must show commitment in ensuring food safety. Most foodborne illness occurs because of negligence in the preparation and handling of food. One should always remember that the guests do not pay for ill health by consuming contaminated food. It is the moral responsibility for the food handlers to provide clean and safe food to the customers to have a great faith and trust. The awareness on the importance of concern for environment must be created in every employee. Thanking you and have a nice day.